Hello, and welcome to a brand new Monday Night Therapy. I'm your host, Minnie Hunt, and I'm here joined by Jarek Shearer. Jarek, do I say your name right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Jarek is with Corn Nation. He's a writer for Corn Nation, and he watches and covers all the sports.
Try to anyway.
Yes. And since I wasn't really watching all of the baseball that happened this weekend, I really needed somebody that has watched everything from start to finish to kind of fill us in on what happened.
Well, it started off kind of bad, then it was okay, and then it just went really downhill from there. Just unfortunately, two matchups with Oklahoma. Boy, it would have been nice to at least get one of them.
Yeah. So we won the Big Ten championship, and that took us to the super regionals.
Regionals, actually.
Regionals, okay, where we played. See, we started off with Oklahoma, right?
Yep.
And then we played who after that?
After we lost to Oklahoma, we played Holy Cross,
Yep.
who had actually eliminated Nebraska in 2017. We beat them Saturday, and then found Oklahoma again Sunday for the opportunity to get into the title games. And yeah, unfortunately got blown out 17-1. Game that unfortunately just got started off.
What was
started
the
off
score?
17-1. It started ugly and it never got any better.
17-1.
Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah. How does that how do we get so far behind?
It was a combination of the first inning started off, we committed 3 errors in the first inning. The first 2 guys reached on errors. Third guy got up with a single. Oklahoma scored 3 runs before even recording an out. And yeah, the offense unfortunately just never really responded. We had a guy who I think it was Stokes who walked in like the 3rd inning. And it wasn't until about the 5th that Nebraska even had a hit. Defensively, pitchers just unfortunately just gave up a lot of hits. Oklahoma ended up with a season high in runs, season high in hits. We unfortunately committed 5 errors in the process. It was just an all-around bad day yesterday.
Were we just tired, do you think? Was that it?
A little bit. And unfortunately, the pitching depth, the pitching depth kind of really took a huge hit early in the year, and it just never really recovered. Fighting through the Big Ten, playing 4 games like we did, we got really good performances out of guys who usually wouldn't go very long distances throughout the year. You look at a guy like Brockett or Will Walsh who tried to go, 6, 7, 8 innings in the Big Ten tournament. Walsh came out of the bullpen multiple times, and Walsh never made it out of the 3rd in his start against Oklahoma yesterday. Brockett got kind of roughed up against Oklahoma on Friday night. So it just, it kind of, just spiraled, unfortunately. And anybody who came out of the bullpen just couldn't really stop the bleeding.
Okay, so we have some people in chat that are chiming in with what they say happened. Esker Chuck says that losing Bolin hurt. Who's that?
So Robbie Bolin was the starting right fielder. He, unfortunately, in the Big Ten title game against UCLA very early, was chasing down a fly ball. Luckily, he caught it, but unfortunately pulled a hamstring, which kept him out of. I think he pinch hit in the Saturday game against Holy Cross, but outside of that, he wasn't available. Max Butenbach was just coming back from an illness that he'd been missed a month from. Tyler Stone, who DHs for us usually, he busted a finger getting hit with a fastball up in Minnesota. And then starting third baseman Josh Overbeek, he twisted an ankle against Penn State in the game Saturday again, and semifinals on Saturday. So losing 3 to 4 starters purely due to injury late from an offensive standpoint. Yeah, it's just there's only so much you can do.
The games that I really watched were played with Tyner. What's his last name?
Ty Horn.
Ty Horn. Did he pitch at all?
So he pitched. I want to say he pitched I can't remember if it was Brockett against Oklahoma and Horn against Holy Cross, or if it was the other way around. Horn did throw, though. I know that much. But I want to say it was Ty Horn against Oklahoma on the Friday game. And he, I think, lasted somewhere till about the 5th inning. So it wasn't quite as good of a performance. I think he gave up 4 or 5 runs against Oklahoma.
Oh, here we go. Husker Chuck has it.
Okay. Horn did throw against Holy Cross. Okay. So, yeah, it was Timmerman who threw against Oklahoma then. But my mistake.
I've seen him as well. He's a pretty good pitcher, though. Timmerman?
Yep. He's not bad. He'd have been really good behind. He'd have been a really good Saturday or Sunday starter with Horn. Had Mason McConaughey, the ace of the staff, not got hurt 3rd week of the year. Then screwed up his elbow, needed Tommy John surgery. So hopefully he'll be back before the start of next season. But that really started, from a pitching standpoint, really started a lot of the problems.
I see. And as we have learned in the past, from past games, I mean, pitching is everything, right?
Yep. Especially this time of year. If you don't have pitching depth and really good pitching, it haunts you and fast.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying this new thing. I put a banner up, but it doesn't seem to want to let our names pop up. So I'm going to have to that's what it is. Take the banner off. Gosh darn it. I wish StreamYard was more streamlined for the user, but that's another thing. Okay, so let's see here. When is the World Series?
So the regionals are officially done today. There's a fair number of them that weren't quite done yet. The super regionals, which will draw the 16 regionals together, that occurs starting on this weekend. And then the College World Series for the men will be the following weekend.
Oh.
So it starts roughly Father's Day weekend.
Oh, okay. Do you ever go to that?
I have yet to actually go to Charles Schwab Field.
Oh, and it's like an hour
away on my list.
How could you not go?
Yeah, I've just never got around to it, and it's funny. Usually, when the Big Ten tournament comes along and it's Memorial Day, I'm usually traveling, so I don't catch when we make the deep runs of the Big Ten tournament. And then we just aren't. Unfortunately, I just don't really have a decent team to go root for that comes up here.
Well, do you mind if I share your news, Jarek?
Yeah, go ahead.
Jarek just shared with me that he's expecting twins around Christmas. So yay.
Wish me luck.
Congratulations. Now is the only time that you're going to have probably for the next 15 years to go. So whether or not you have a team to root for, I would suggest you just go.
Yeah, I was going to say this might be it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely going to make about halfway through Big Ten Conference basketball season for me really interesting, trying to cover basketball.
Yes.
See how well I can change diapers and write recaps at the same time.
Oh my gosh. No kidding. Okay, so is it okay with you if I put a link in the chat to have some people join us if they have questions or comments?
Certainly.
You cool with that? Awesome. All right, guys. So I'm putting a link in the chat right now. And some of you have already tried joining, and it usually works best, I found, with a mobile device. But you just click on it and it'll take you to a screen that says StreamYard, and you just have to kind of like click OK, put your name in, and then you can join and I'll bring you on stage. And you don't have to show your face if you don't want to. Like it'll give you the option. Okay. So did this baseball season turn out like you thought it was going to?
That one actually is kind of a loaded question. Nebraska was picked to finish second in the Big Ten preseason. Ultimately finished eighth, which not less than ideal. You finish second in the Big Ten. You at worst are an at-large for a regional. And then for Nebraska to turn around and win 4 games over the Big Ten tournament to get into a regional, probably what not a lot of people expected. So that was a good part as far as the season's concerned. And then to turn around and then just only win 1 game. I mean, the expectations probably weren't that high for Nebraska in the regionals, but it would have been nice to at least beat a Power 5 team or a power conference team. I had actually seen something today that since Nebraska went to the College World Series in 2005, since then Nebraska is 1-9 against power conference schools. And that lone win was in 2021 at Arkansas and Dave Van Horn, in which a regional that, due to COVID purposes and all that, should not have happened in the first place. And then we almost got out of it. But yeah, that's the only win in the last 20 years against a power school in baseball regional play.
And I also read something about Oklahoma being in the regionals for like the last 15 years.
Yeah. Oklahoma was always fairly good in the Big 12. And then when they shoved over to the SEC, their recruiting base got a little bit better. The one thing I definitely noticed with Oklahoma's baseball team was they had actually had a lot of guys from Texas.
Oh, that's interesting, because I was wondering how well the Midwest is able to recruit, down south, especially for baseball.
In Oklahoma, Oklahoma's kind of an intriguing one with Texas guys, because Texas is usually a powerhouse. Texas A&M started off the year at preseason number 1, but didn't make a regional because they were going through a coaching change and a whole lot of issues from there. TCU is a really good Big 12 representative that was in a regional this year, got knocked out fairly early. Baylor's kind of hit and miss. Houston Christian made a regional this year. And then kind of an unknown powerhouse in baseball, especially out of Texas, is Dallas Baptist University. It's the only sport you'll ever hear Dallas Baptist. Yeah, it's the only sport you'll ever hear Dallas Baptist use. But they've, for years and years and years, have had a really good program. So to looking at the Oklahoma roster, seeing all those guys from Texas, it kind of shocked me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. What is our recruiting like? Like for Nebraska, do we get a lot of guys from the South, or?
A few here and there. A couple years ago when we were really, really good in 2021, weirdly, we actually had 6 Canadians on the team. But right now with this group, there's actually a solid amount of guys from kind of Nebraska, Iowa, a few down in Kansas. A lot of JUCOs come from Kansas for us. But yeah, it's not a lot of guys from like your Texases, your Arkansas, your Louisianas, your Floridas. There might be a few sprinkled in here and there. yeah, it's mainly Midwest, and a lot of times, a lot of good Canadian players, college guys, will come down. We're a weird hotbed for Canada.
Here's what Fred has to say, Fred Sacco, about that. He says 6 Canadians? No wonder we suck.
That group actually with 6 Canadians a few years ago was probably one of the best teams that Nebraska has had
Really?
since we joined the Big Ten. That was with Ben Columbus comes to mind. Oh man, now I'm going to start drawing blanks. I knew I was going to do this. Ben Columbus. It was about the time that Ben Miller was around, and a couple of other like speedsters, kind of like your Riley Silvas, and those guys were actually big. They were all Canadians, big time speed guys, which is exactly how Will Bolt likes to play.
Huh. Well, Will Bolt has been the head coach for how long now?
I want to say 2019 was his first year. Maybe 2020 was his first year, because I'm trying to remember when. I think maybe 2019, because I want to say no, it was 2020, because we got knocked out by Holy Cross in 2017. Didn't make the Big Ten tournament at all in 2018. And then 2019 made a regional down in, I believe, Clemson. And then Darren Erstad basically retired. And then, Will Bolt, I believe, took over the COVID-shortened 2020 season, which the season lasted maybe like 12 games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a very short season. 2020 you can just throw out of the books as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it just boggles my mind. We've made it now twice, right? The last 2 years.
Yep. Last 2 years.
We've got the Big Ten championship last year and this year, right?
Yep.
Okay. So is that about as good as we can get? Do you think?
I would say no.
It sounds like Oklahoma, for instance, is like in another league. I mean, 17-1.
Yeah. So the tricky part with the SEC is, unfortunately, much like everything else, it has a pretty strong case of being the best conference in all of the sport that it happens to be involved in. So you're going to have a lot of teams that might have losing conference records in the SEC that are actually pretty high up on your RPIs, pretty high up on your strength of schedules, because by the time you get into conference play, all those teams are ridiculously good.
Mm-hmm.
For Nebraska, when we first got into this league, into the Big Ten, there wasn't a large emphasis on baseball. It was kind of the one sport that most Nebraska fans looked at and went, well, this is the one thing that we could actually be really, really good at and should be really, really good at on a yearly basis.
Yes.
And we've kind of found it a little tougher than we thought. Michigan has done a good job here and there, although they lost their head coach a couple years ago. We went to Clemson. Indiana a decade ago was very, very solid with guys like Sam Travis and Kyle Schwarber. Purdue hosted a regional, I believe, back in 2016, 2017.
So basically all the Big Ten teams that suck at football.
Yeah, and a lot of times, yeah. And Maryland coming over from the ACC was actually a big help, because Maryland in the ACC was a very good baseball program. This year they took a giant step back, but Maryland had won it 2 years ago. They were pretty decent last year. With the addition of the 4 West Coasters now, Oregon's always been a perennial power. UCLA was very, very good this year. But they had a really down year 2 years ago, but normally they're pretty good. USC is back up on the rise. Washington will be intriguing to me. First year head coach. We'll see how they kind of roll. here in the next couple years. But with Nebraska being back-to-back champs, the next step, I think, for Nebraska would be find a way to be good enough to win the conference regular season and the conference tournament in the same year, so that way they can turn around and be a regional host.
Oh.
That's to me, that's the next step. Of the 16 regional hosts this year, the furthest north was Oregon State and Oregon. Outside of that, you had UCLA and you had a couple in Tennessee, and everything else was in the Southeast. Whether it was the SEC, who I believe had half of the regional hosts of the 16, they had 8. The Sun Belt had 2, and not a single Big 12er even hosted. The closest one to it was TCU. But I mean, yeah, so we had the Big 10 with Oregon and UCLA for the first time had 2 regional hosts as a conference. But yeah, it was the 2 West Coasters, and just everybody else down south. There's just nobody in the Midwest or the North who's strong enough because it's too cold. Everybody's got to go down south to play.
Oh, yes, that makes sense. Okay, there's a lot of comments. We got to take some of these. Pit Snipe Husker, hello, everybody. And I'm going to, one other thing. I'm putting the link for a call-in the chat again. Whoops. Again, if you missed it. Okay, Pit Snipe Husker says, frankly, USC has 0 excuses for not being competitive in baseball every year.
And I would have, yeah, they should be. I mean, LA should be a good recruiting, it should be a fantastic recruiting base. USC finished 4th in the regular season in the Big 10 this year. Made a regional, got stuck in Corvallis with Oregon State, and I believe played them starting at 5 today, to possibly go on to the super regionals. And let me look how that one went, because Oregon State had to beat USC twice in order to get out of their own regional. And
Husker Chuck says they lost today.
They did 9-0. Yeah, they got beat 9-0.
What's going on with these blowouts?
So North Carolina beat Oklahoma 14-4 today to win their regional. But yeah, I mean, it's been pretty good. You know, there's been a lot of balance because there's been a fair number of regional hosts that have gone out the window already, including number 1 overall Vanderbilt and number 2 Texas, which
wow. But, well, that's how we should have started the show. Jeez.
Yeah,
start off with some good news.
Yeah, making fun of everybody else.
Yes. All right, we got a new member here. The other Dave just became a YouTube member for Coronation. Thank you. Unfortunately, I don't have the same things at my disposal here. Like, I can't just click on that cute little thank you for becoming a member thing that we have on Thursday nights. So if you want the other Dave, I can play it for you on Thursday night. But thank you for becoming a member. So Greg and we put together this cute little thing where he gets to finally talk about his Blue Chew ads, and I just say thank you for becoming a member. So in case you didn't know. That's why Fred says prepare to be eroticized. It was
I'll definitely have to look for it on Thursday then. I'll wait for it.
It's fun. Okay, good. Dave says, see you on Thursday. Great. Okay. I owe you. Let's take some of these other comments here. Well, first of all, Fred also says, congrats, Jarek, on the twins.
Yeah, thanks, Fred.
And Highlander Gun also. And Tony is so cute. He is a Minnesota fan who found us, but he loves when we talk crap about Wisconsin. He comes here specifically to talk about Wisconsin, but he has a question. For you, how much better now is the Big Ten with the Pacific schools?
Uh, Overall, or just with baseball?
I'd say with baseball, because
With baseball, it's a
yeah.
lot better. Probably the big out of the four schools, the biggest probably non-factor would be Washington. And even then, in the Pac-12, Washington found itself very high up in the standings a fair number of years. Like I said, Washington's the intriguing one for the next couple of years. They have a brand new head coach this year. But yeah, I give it 2, maybe 3 years before all of a sudden you look out west, and going to Washington or Washington coming to us is not going to be an easy walk in the park. Oregon usually is a perennial host of a regional. So they were a fantastic addition for baseball. And like I said, UCLA usually outside of 2 years ago, same thing, is a perennial power, usually finds itself in and around Los Angeles hosting, or somewhere going up to Oregon maybe. And then you got, USC, who was looking really good up until yesterday and today. So, that's of the four schools that made regionals this year, it was Oregon, UCLA, and USC, and us. So adding those four for baseball is
Obviously.
actually really, really good for the Big Ten.
Yeah, it paid off. Well, this is how I feel about baseball, the same as Pitt Snipe Husker. Although I think you said this comment to something else, but this is how I feel about baseball. I've been kind of paying attention because
Yeah,
for me, baseball just so long.
yeah,
I
yeah.
wish there was some way to shorten it and make it more entertaining.
Yeah, I try to carry, especially with like Major League Baseball.
Mhm.
I try to watch that, and I try to have the same enthusiasm in April as I do in October. And 162 games is just, oh man. And even college baseball, you start roughly Valentine's Day weekend, and the Big Ten tournament finishes Memorial Day weekend. The day before Memorial Day. The Nebraska plays probably somewhere around 55 games in that time frame.
Whew, that's a lot of games.
Yeah,
A lot
it
of
goes
games.
quick.
Okay, if you say so. All right, and then Husker Chuck says Ohio State is terrible, but not as bad as Wisconsin baseball. And then Tony backs that comment up with Wisconsin doesn't even have a baseball team. That's un-American, if you ask me.
So I was just about I had figured the joke out. Yes. So of the 18 schools that exist in the Big Ten, only Wisconsin does not have a baseball team. Wisconsin, I believe, is one of four schools,
What?
one of
Are you
four power conference schools that don't have baseball. It's Wisconsin, it's Colorado, it's Iowa State, and I am drawing a blank on who the fourth one is. But I know
crazy?
there are four power conference schools that don't have baseball, but Wisconsin is one of them, and so is Colorado. Which is weird because Northern Colorado, Colorado State, and Air Force all possess baseball teams, but not CU.
Huh.
And Iowa has baseball, but not Iowa State.
Well, see, you really shouldn't have any sports. Let's be honest.
They shouldn't exist.
But I can't believe Wisconsin gets away with not having a baseball team.
So I think with Wisconsin, well, actually, it's weird because I know with Iowa, my in-laws are all Iowa State people. I know with Title IX, baseball got cut at Iowa State.
Oh.
If I'm not mistaken, though, Wisconsin actually has one more women's sport than it does men's. So
Huh.
if Wisconsin actually wanted to do baseball, they could. They just choose not to.
Yeah, they just need to get their act together on their other sports. I think that's
which is fine with us because Nebraska has gotten a couple of guys out of Wisconsin in the last few years that have been really, really good. A guy named Scott Schreiber comes to mind for that. He was a good power hitter for Nebraska, good third baseman a handful of years ago.
nice. Okay. Yes, guys, this is true. I do have admin rights, Roger Moore, for the ad. I would just have to switch screens and go to the other ad and pull it in. And it's already I mean, Greg's kind of proud of it. I don't want to take it away from him on Thursday nights. Although I'm very proud of it too.
Yeah, I'd let him do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Fred says, "Oh, damn it. No boner night. Monday night boner pill ad. Darn." Highlander says, "Greg's hoarding the jingles." He is. He's a hoarder. And then here's another congratulations to the twins. Are you hoping for girls, boys, or do you just not care?
I don't think it really matters to me on this one. If it's twin girl, I already have a daughter, so if it's twin girls, at least I won't have to do a whole lot of clothes shopping. If it's twin boys, then everything's going to have to be new. So from a financial aspect, kind of keeping my fingers crossed that at least one might be a daughter or another girl. But
You need to become best friends with Greg because his boys are toddlers, so they're just now growing out of the clothes that you're going to need.
I'll have to get in touch with him on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. Because you have to buy 2 of everything when you have twins. Yeah.
You can only rotate clothes so much and then forget who was dressed in what.
Yes. Well, that is just, it's really fun. I'm so excited for you.
I am too. It'll be interesting, that's for sure.
Highlander again says Wisconsin is holding out for a horseshoes team.
I'd be holding out for Nebraska to have one. That'd be cool.
Oh my gosh. Go back to school, huh?
Right, yeah. It's only one of 2 things you got to be close in.
Oh. Here's something that we didn't think about. Roger Moore says twin girls, twin weddings.
That would also require 2 guys being prepared to marry my daughters at the same time. That's a little trickier.
Oh gosh. It is expensive. Daughters are expensive. I have 3 of them. Trust me. Yeah, you have only 1, and I guarantee she's expensive, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so my daughter is the only grandkid on my wife's side. So she's expensive, but she's also spoiled, so it's a little bit easier on my wife and I. But yeah, I'm not saying my daughter is spoiled because she's the only grandkid. However, I'm saying it.
Mm-hmm. All right, Fitz Snipe has some. His comments are just fun. Do you want to read this one? I'll let you read it.
Just listen, dads and grandpas heard it. Jarek is crushing diamonds in the sphincter right now. I'll be honest with you. We were surprised to find out it was twins. Nobody in my family has had twins before. And my wife's side of the family, a cousin had twins 2 years ago, but that was the only previous set.
That's it?
So that's, it was quite a shock to us too.
Oh my gosh. See, it does happen naturally.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Trust me when I say all my coworkers spent most of the day today laughing at me that I'm having twins.
I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. The more, the better.
Right.
Just get them out of the way as quickly as possible. Having them is the difficult part.
Right.
Okay, Fred Sacco, and I love this movie. That's why I had to He says, sounds like 7 Brides for 7 Brothers, and not the Corn Hub version. What that means. But I love that movie. All right. Oh, we have somebody joining us, I think. What is this? Ah, my buddy. Hey, Jackson. How are you, bud?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing today, Minnie?
Good. Have you met Jarek?
No, I have not. This is my first time. How you doing today, Jarek?
Good, Jackson. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Just getting ready for the 2025 season start already. And tomorrow, I'm getting ready to make my order for the Lindy's preseason magazine.
Ooh, good. Yeah, it'll be here. It should be coming out soon, right?
Uh-huh. Coming out tomorrow on the website. And I think it's going to be out to a grocery store near you.
Yes. And how much do you actually pay attention to that stuff? Obviously, a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm waiting it out for the Phil Still magazine come out. And that's where the magic really begins, where I'm just writing my predictions on that.
Huh. Now, how close are you based off of those 2 magazines, the information that you have, and then the predictions that you give?
Some of them are close to my predictions, but some of them are not so close to where I have some of the teams in all college football.
Because I remember Phil Steele said last year that Tommy Hill was going to be go in the 3rd round. He was going to be one of our top, and obviously you can't predict an injury, especially one like he had that lasted so long. Kind of sad when I think about it. Yeah. I'd rather not think about that. Let's talk about how Texas lost again.
Oh man. What's been going? Oh, Texas baseball. What's been going on with them? It's like, I guess that new A&M coach not doing the job for them.
No, they got ousted by UTSA. So yeah, the San Antonio Roadrunners got the better of them.
There we go.
Pitt Snipe says, "My boy, my Jackson, M. Effin Johnson in that house." I wish he was here. Pitt Snipe has actually joined me before, and it is so much fun to have him on the show because he's as wild as you think he's going to be. The way he sounds, that's...
Who's wilder, Pitt Snipe Husker or George from The Voice College Football?
Oh, I would say Pitt Snipe for sure. I mean, George is somewhat George is entertainment through and through. Don't get me wrong. I love George. He is, I think he was already 3 sheets to the wind today. 1:00 my time. So
yeah, he has some thoughts.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
But Pitt Snipe does too.
Yeah.
And he says, "Hey, I am coherent and George is lovable." So there you go.
There you go. Oh man, it's like one thing's for sure. If you're wanting to do a George impression, Minnie, think of the Tiger King and make sure to practice on that as much as possible.
I need a fake cigarette because that guy, I don't know how, he just always has a cigarette. I know it's not a cigarette in his hand with the smoke, and he's talking like this, talking with a cigarette pointing at you. He's one of those.
Oh, well, you got that right, Mark. You got that right.
I just love it. With a drink in the other hand. It's always... Okay. Anyways, another show, but that is so funny. Okay. Well, have we put the nail in the coffin on this baseball season? Is there any more you would like to talk about?
Not that I could think.
No. Does Alabama have a baseball team?
I think we got eliminated. I think Bama got eliminated. I haven't really watched a lot of college baseball. but I know that we got eliminated last week.
Okay. You're like me. You kind of pay attention.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Alabama got eliminated by, let me look, because I know it was. They were a 2 seed somewhere. Alabama got eliminated in the Hattiesburg Regional with Southern Miss and Miami.
Yep, that's the one. Like Southern Miss always does it to us.
Yeah, they're tricky.
It's the schools that you don't think are going to be any good that are actually good at baseball. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, there's probably a fair number of universities that honestly that not a lot of people have heard of. You get the Northeastern Huskies, you get Cal Poly, Coastal Carolina, who's usually very, very good, who's been kind of good in football for the last few years. But yeah, then you get like East Carolina, you get the Stetson Hatters out of Florida. Stetson's always, the Hatters. And yes, their logo is a Stetson hat, in case you're wondering. But yeah, it's a bunch of small colleges that you wouldn't really think that have really, really solid baseball programs.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and transition to football, what we actually are all very interested in. The one thing that we all actually care about.
89 days till kickoff for Alabama and 89 days until kickoff for Nebraska.
Is it 89 or 88? I counted 88. We play
89.
on Thursday.
Oh,
yeah, 88. I think it's 88.
Do you play on a Thursday? When is your opener?
Alabama plays on a Saturday. That's against
Oh.
Florida State on ABC.
Yeah, we play on.
Oh,
Thursday.
my mistake. I was a few days off. 87 days till kickoff for Nebraska.
Yay. 87 days.
One day closer. One day. Magic.
It's going to be magic.
It doesn't feel like it's almost that time of year already.
Hey, time flies by when you're having fun. That's the way I look at it.
Oh, I'm not complaining. Don't worry.
My mother said to me one time when I was 17 years old that when you get to your grandmother's age, 17 years will feel like one whole year.
What? What did she say?
I said to Jarek that my mom said to me when I was 17 years old that when you get to your grandmother's age, 17 years will feel like one whole year. That's how fast time flies by.
Oh. Yes.
I'm struggling to think I'm going to be 38 here in a few months.
Oh, cry me a river.
Yeah.
Jackson, how old are you?
I'm 27. I'll be 28 on September 30th.
That's my birthday.
Oh, your birthday's September 30th? Nice.
But I won't be 27. Damn it.
I'll be 38 on September 2nd. So, fellow September birthdays. Good to see everybody.
Oh, man. Note to self. We'll have to do a little birthday stream at some point.
This is the September cast right here, people.
Yep.
Okay. Greg has a question for you, Jackson. Hi, Greg. He says, Jackson, can you tell me what Crimson Tide has to do with elephants?
They have a lot to do with elephants.
Oh,
man, I'm so excited to see what 2025 brings. Oh, man.
Big Al is cool. I love Big Al.
Who doesn't love Big Al?
Okay, explain this to me. What?
Well, it started in the 20s. That's how we started doing the Crimson Tide, because it was that was when we started getting things done. We went to Rose Bowl 1925, 1926 season. That was when we went against the we went against Washington. We defeated them in the Rose Bowl. We didn't really have a 2-point conversion until 1958, but then then started we started celebrate. We became like the team that started to get things rocking and rolling for everybody in the South. And then we started calling ourselves Crimson Tide, doing the Yay Alabama song, and then started doing our Roll Tide chant a little bit after that 26th Rose Bowl.
Roll Tide. How do you do it properly?
Roll Tide.
I love it.
There you go.
It's like the commercial where the guy yells out. What does he yell?
High tide.
High tide.
High Tide.
That would be me.
High tide,
I'd be
high
like,
tide, guys.
High Tide.
No, it's roll tide, right?
Yep.
Well, that's
Yeah, that was a good commercial. I like that one a lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's see. In football news, I have to start out with Dylan and Dayton Raiola.
Mr. Dylan.
I know, look at him.
There you go.
Look at that guy. Okay, he has really dropped some weight. Look at how his waist is all like trim. He is ready to attack this football season. And they're down in Texas getting some extra practices in with, his football coach. I think they may be at Texas Tech. I don't even know. But his dad was there. Dayton's throwing, and they brought some wide receivers. They brought Dane Key, like all the guys, Ja'Cory Barney, even some tight ends. Heinrich Harburg was catching balls. So it's pretty exciting. I love seeing things like this.
I think it'll be really good too, especially with Dylan losing a little bit of weight. I know that he's not asked to step up into the pocket a whole lot and take off. That might help a little bit, might help with a little bit of mobility and escaping the pocket and rolling out if necessary. But I mean, I love the fact that he's working with wide receivers as much as possible, especially with like guys like Dane Key coming in and out of the transfer portal. The faster that you can get gelling with your quarterback and the receiving core, the better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these guys do everything together. So
Yep.
I think it's, that's exactly what they're striving for. And let's see here. Dayton is left-handed. Yeah, I know.
Yep.
He's a lefty. What are your thoughts on a left-handed quarterback? Do you guys have any?
I like them.
Yeah, left-handed quarterbacks are fine. My brother is the lone weirdo of the family. He's a lefty, so I grew up with a left-handed quarterback. So I've got no. I don't understand how people like it. The flight of the ball is different. Yeah, sort of, but I don't mind catching it.
Huh. It was interesting because I took this photo off of Instagram, and there were videos of his throws, both of their throws, and they were like, in slower speed, and you could just see the spiral on one versus the other. It's pretty interesting.
It does come out a little different, but it's the same football, same shape.
Mm-hmm.
Get your hands on it, you got to catch it.
And then let's see. So we got that news, what they're up to, which I love. And I forgot to add this other picture. Give me 1 second, guys. It'll be here. No, it won't. Oh, there it is. Okay. This was another one I found. It's Riley Van Poppel and Keona Davis. Oh my gosh. These guys. Okay, this is defense. These are two guys on defense. Jackson.
There we go. Oh, you got some main young men. I like it.
I know. Look at that, like muscles bulging from, like, yeah.
There you go.
I know. I love seeing pictures like this. Any thoughts, Jarek?
Yeah, the defensive line in particular will be one where Nebraska, particularly when you get into Big Ten play, where running attack is basically the end-all be-all, the 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Riley Van Poppel, Keona Davis, the defensive line and edge rushers are going to have such an important part to play this year, particularly in Matt Rule's third year. It'll be guys like this that you'll see the big jump from.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, for sure. Keona Davis, I'll never forget when we got to finally hear from him when he did a press conference. Our center, Justin Evans, was up right before him, and he's like 6'1", and the camera goes like this. And then when Keona Davis is on, it just goes up and keeps going up because this guy's a giant. This is funny.
I mean, it's good that those guys look huge. They look pretty. Pretty trim.
Mm-hmm.
All you can ask for about right now in spring ball, right as you get up into the summer months and get ready for fall practice.
Yeah. Well, Rule said summer is when you actually are winning. Like, this is the time that you put in that makes a difference for your season.
Yeah. There's a phrase that I hear quite a bit. It's champions aren't made in the ring. They're recognized there. So, it's doing all that work in the fall. It's doing all that work in the summertime. Come Saturday, that's when everybody gets to see the work that you put in, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's on a weekly basis. We only get to see what happens, as you put on the show or, as you go out there. But It's all the behind the scenes work that's everything and how to be a really good football team.
Yeah. Sacrificing vacations. Yeah. So Dayton Raiola, on that picture that I showed you guys, he said, working while they sleep so I can live how they dream.
Yep.
I thought that was really, he's a teenager and he's saying things like that. I just love it.
Yeah. And that shows signs of really good leadership. And their dad Dominic was one of those guys that, was probably one of the first ones into the gym and one of the last ones out, one of the first ones in the film room and probably one of the last ones out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. Oops. What happened there? Sorry. I just had a comment that I was going to click on, but it disappeared. It was about left-handed. Here it is. Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought it was the one from Husker Chuck. No worries.
No, what was the one from Husker Chuck?
I was a left-handed first baseman. Pitt batted rightly. He's in conversation with a Pitt snipe Husker. My bad.
So my older brother is the only lefty, but my dad and grandfather taught him how to do a lot of things righty. So when my brother played baseball, he pitched lefty, he caught lefty, he played first base left-handed. But if he hits a baseball or when he swings a golf club, it's right-handed. Because that's just how because there was no other left-handed people in our family. So everything he does naturally is lefty. But yeah, if when he hits a baseball or hits a golf ball, it's right-handed and not lefty.
Yeah. Well, they live in a right-handed person's world. I have a daughter who's left-handed. My mom's left-handed. I have a brother who's left-handed. Like, there's a lot of lefties in my family. And I just noticed that they have to accommodate living in a right-handed person's world so much that they just get used to doing things the way a right-handed person would. So, like, for instance, my daughter wanted to play volleyball, and her coach was asking her, is she left-handed or right-handed? She said, I'm left-handed, but I hit with my right. It's like, no, you don't. Hold on. You don't know because you're watching what everybody else is doing and you're mimic, like you have to give your left hand a fair shot. So I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but
the value of being able to, hit both lefty and righty,
yeah.
that is not something a lot of people can do and do well. So, I mean,
True. Yeah.
pull it off. I
said
mean, it's excellent.
Yeah. So TSD said, in my opinion, left-handed is more accurate. I play basketball and box left-handed, strength with right hand. Ooh, are you left-handed then? I wonder, because that would go hand in hand with what I was just saying about my daughter. So it'll be interesting because Dayton's planning on coming here.
Yep.
And he is
get the old Tim Tebow left-handed quarterback effect going.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Hopefully more accurate.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind the stats and the championships and the Heismans, but
okay. No kidding. Speaking of which, did you see Ndamukong Suh is finally on the ballot for 2026 to be in the National Football Hall of Fame?
Yeah. That one's a little overdue.
Yeah, I know. He was the only Husker I could find on the list, though. Gosh darn it.
Yeah, there was a few Big Ten. There was a few Big Teners, but yeah, he was the only Nebraska one on there.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Loved watching the Ndamukong Suh in Nebraska.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 2009 was huge.
He just ruined so many offenses by himself.
Yes, we know they have to be retired from the NFL.
I think it's a 5-year window.
Okay. Okay. Hi, Mark. Thanks.
What's up, Mark?
And Greg says, yeah, Mark knows the rules. Okay. Just listen. So tell me, what'd you like about Suh?
Oh man, I love watching like those sats that he made.
Mm-hmm.
It was a shame that Nebraska didn't beat Texas in the Big 12 title game, but it was like, that's all right. We took care of Texas for you.
And we appreciate it.
Yeah, no kidding.
It was like the way Nebraska shut out Arizona in the Holiday Bowl. That was like, wow. Nebraska smoked them like a chimney.
I love hearing that. Okay, this is a good question. Ooh, ouch. I don't know who Copeland or Curry are, but I assume that they're players from Alabama. Fred Sacco wants to know, Jackson, do you think Suh is better than Copeland or Curry?
Yes. I do not want to get on the Ndamukong Suh's bad side. He'll chew you up like a chicken nugget if you're a quarterback.
Oh. You guys heard it here.
I love my Bama guys, but it's like, I say what I say. I'm not messing with Ndamukong Suh. I don't know why I never call himself Ndamukong, because I mean, like, Kong is part of your name. You got that Kong right there in your name.
People are afraid to give him a nickname.
I call him Kong, man. Like, he's got that cool name, man.
He does have a cool name. You're right. That is one heck of a name for a football player. All right.
But I do wonder what it'd been like if Mount Cody had gone against Suh. Like, that would have been cool. Man, that would have been fun. Like, he just blocks a field goal with his armpit against Tennessee, not once but twice.
That's right. TSD reminds us, Ndamukong it means House of Spears.
I was seeing a couple of comments that TSD was mentioning about the night that Ndamukong was avoiding an animal, and and got into a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually at a house party a half a block from where that happened, and actually was outside and heard that crash. And a couple of my roommates went to go see what was going on, and one of my roommates worked for the UNL parking enforcement at the time, and he just texted me. He just goes, "Holy shit, it's Suh." And he goes, "And dude, he is not sober."
Oh,
And I went, "Oh, this ain't good."
Oh my gosh.
And he goes, and the only thing he goes, I had to convince him to stop doing what he was doing. He goes, because he was trying to pick up the bumper of his car, and lift it off of the car he hit.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, had I given him another 2 to 3 minutes, he goes, "Oh yeah, he'd have got it loose." He goes, because it was already moving.
My God.
He goes, "If you want to know how strong Suh really was," he goes, "he was moving that car."
What kind of car was it? What kind of car? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I want to say he had an SUV, actually.
Huh.
But yeah, he just goes, "Yeah, if I had given him another 2 or 3 minutes, he'd have got it loose."
That's crazy. Oh,
But
yeah.
I was literally a half a block and heard the crash at a house party. It was Halloween. It was Halloween night after the Baylor. They had come back from beating Baylor.
Roger Moore just linked it for us, Jackson. He says elephants eat peanuts, boiled peanuts in Alabama. That's it.
Sorry, me.
There's got to be a lot of jokes about what this is about. Like, you've probably heard them all.
Oh yeah, a lot.
And you just sit there and you're like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite one?
Oh man, there's a few of them, but there's just so much I could go on about. But I always love when people like to kind of have some fun with the Crimson Tide, because it's like, oh well, come on in. Like, especially when the rivals are trying to have some fun, because it's like, oh well, call us when you beat us, like, because like it's all they could do is brag. But it's like, one thing I never do, and you saw this with when we had one of our crazy callers on the Alabama call-in show, which I never like to do, but anytime somebody does that bragging about like, oh, my team won this title, I just go, call me when you see 6 national titles in your lifetime.
Call me when you win something.
That is the perfect thing to say. That's what I always think. I mean, no offense, but the Ohio State thinks that they're all that. They haven't even won that many national championships. So,
well, one thing is for sure, it's like the crazies don't always represent the fan base of each team. It's just those crazies that make us all look crazy. It's like, nope. Yeah, because
I do like crazy.
Oh,
certain kind of crazy. I do. Okay, Pit Snipe being a little crazy also. I'm kidding. But he says worst best players, Jackson, for I assume for your team.
Are you talking about for this year or just throughout my whole lifetime?
Let's do this season.
Well, Ryan Williams is our best, obviously. And I'm curious to see who's going to be looking good for our offensive line, because that did not look so good last year. That was key. But this year we got to make sure our offensive line's looking good.
Yeah.
But Greg, that question Greg's got for me, I have no clue because I have not drank a beer. But I can tell you, like, the last time I drank an alcoholic beverage was on February 22nd, 2023 when I had a screwdriver, but I've not had an alcoholic beverage since. I'm a one drink kind of guy.
Me too.
Like, I never,
Something about being born on the 30th of September makes you a one drink kind of person.
Yeah, it's like I'm not.
Otherwise, there's problems.
I can drink, but yeah, I'm a real cheap date most nights.
No, I was raised Catholic, but the reason why I don't drink is because I don't want it to mess with my brain, because then I'm gonna wind up forgetting something, and it's really gonna get me upset if I forget something.
Because you literally have like your whole Rolodex of football history here. Like you can spit it out just like that.
Yeah.
And you're afraid alcohol is going to tamper with your memory.
And it's going to tamper with other things, my mind as well, like especially with like the math and everything else I need to make sure I've got on the docket.
I love it. That's a great reason right there.
But if I am messing with alcohol, and if I'm deciding to have more than one, I'll save it for like a really good moment. But that good moment will come at some point.
Beating Auburn to get into the SEC title game.
Nah.
We're just beating Auburn in anything and everything.
You don't need to drink alcohol to beat Auburn.
That's true. It's a rare day when it's the other way around.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Auburn gives Alabama a lot of trouble, especially when it's at Auburn. But that's something you may want to keep your eye on, is the Iron Bowl at Jordan-Hare. Because like that can be another one possession win for Alabama, or it could be an upset by Auburn. Do not be surprised if it's one or the other.
Oh my gosh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, people are throwing the baby out with the bathwater and Hugh Freeze, but I'm just like, yeah, I wouldn't be so quick to do that. Because A&M got too focused on Texas, they even forgot about Auburn.
Pitt Snipe describes your reasoning as paranoid intellectualism. And he says he digs it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like it too. Okay, real quick. We got an update for some, like half of our schedule time-wise. I think we got, I don't even have it on here. Gosh, dang it. Never mind. You know what? The only games that I know right off the top of my head are the Cincinnati. Isn't Akron a morning game?
Actually, I think Akron's a night game.
Akron's a night game. You're right. It's like at 6:30.
Yeah, I think, and then Houston Christian, I think, is 11.
Morning. Yep. I know. I will get my shit together. I promise. One of these days, Fred. Okay, so first 3 games that we have. I mean, I've already given my opinion on this. Guys, please give me your opinions on the first 3 games.
Get through Cincinnati, you can get through them all.
Yep. I think obviously, Cincinnati will be the trickiest of the bunch. And considering they moved that to Arrowhead, that makes it clearly more of a home game. I know technically we're on the road with that one, but the fact that it's at Arrowhead, it'll be more of a de facto home game. I like our chances there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Nebraska-Michigan game, I noticed that's going to be on CBS.
That's going to be on CBS, and it's going to be at 2:30.
Yep.
I was really wanting it later, but I do like that it's at 2:30.
Oh man, you get to have Brad Nessler calling your games. I miss hearing Brad Nessler call our games.
Yeah, he's a real good play-by-play guy.
He's a pro.
Michigan also will be without head coach Sharon Moore for that one, too. That's one of his 2 games that he's suspended for, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, Sherrod Moore suspended for weeks 3 and weeks 4.
So he won't even be with the team that whole week.
Nope.
Maybe to do practices, but not as far as being at the game.
Oh, he can't even coach at practices from what I'm hearing. He can't coach at practices for weeks 3 and 4.
Perfect. Even better.
Okay, and then we got an update with Minnesota. We're at Minnesota on a Friday night.
I think Minnesota is going to be more of a challenge than Maryland, but all the same, you treat every game like it's no tomorrow. That's what you ought to do. But Maryland, Mike Lotzley, he's in a hot seat season, especially with his old boss bailing for SMU to be their next AD.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of puts Lotzley in a awkward position. Yep. Mark's got a point. If Nebraska beats Michigan, look out.
Yeah. The only tricky part I see with Maryland is the fact that it's the front half of the season. Mike Loxley and Maryland are usually way better in the front half of the schedule than they are in the back end for some odd reason. It's the only thing that scares me is it's the front half.
Yeah, I can see that. We'll see. I don't know. We have to really do a deep dive on Maryland and Michigan State because honestly, I have not kept up with them as much as I should have because we didn't play them last year.
Nope.
So yeah, I kind of they were off on the back burner. So we'll have to definitely catch up with how they're doing this season.
It's still kind of sinking in that Nebraska Washington is a Big Ten conference game. Like
I know.
It's like years ago that was a Big 12 Pac-10 non-conference game.
Yeah, well, that was big when it was a non-conference game.
Okay, so I know I'm doing this off the top of my head. Penn State, we still don't know if that is going to be a morning game or a night game.
I suspect that's a 2:30 game.
Oh.
But that's
yeah, because they'll probably have Ohio State later or sometime around then too. That'll probably be their night game.
Well, USC Oregon will likely be the night game for that week because I mean I'm going ahead and looking at the 2025 slate for the Big Ten. There's no way they're not putting USC Oregon on in big noon kickoff. Yeah, not happening.
Mm-hmm.
And Ohio State Rutgers. Oh yeah, they'll probably put that on big noon kickoff, and some of the Buckeyes be squawking.
The game that we have talked about very little that needs to be talked about is the last game of the season, the Iowa game, because that actually is going to be played on, on Friday, as usual, but in the morning, like 11 o'clock.
Yeah. What drives me nuts is why is it that every time we see Iowa or Wisconsin at home, it's early in the day, but if we go to Camp Randall or go to Kinnick, it is afternoon or night.
That's what I was thinking, Jarek. So it's not just me that thought this.
No, it's the last. So this year and then two years ago when we hosted Iowa, both 11 o'clocks, and last year at Iowa it was a night game.
Mm-hmm.
And Wisconsin's the same way. I don't know why we get Wisconsin when Wisconsin comes here. It's early in the day, but if we go to Camp Randall or we go to Kinnick, it's at night. It's really, really weird.
You know what's even weirder? The second Black Friday game for the Big Ten is Indiana Purdue.
That's weird.
I know,
That's
right?
2:30.
No, they're putting that at night on NBC.
That is so weird. Who cares?
Yeah,
I mean, I
no.
guess maybe they're thinking Indiana might be good again. Who knows?
They must think that Purdue's gonna got some tricks up their sleeve or something. I don't
I mean,
know.
it's a rivalry that nobody even cares about. Nobody cares about it.
The old oak and bucket. Oh man. Don't tell that to our buddy Jeffrey at All Adult Sports.
Okay, so of course, the voice of college football corrects us. He says the games at Kinnick were during the day before 2024. Did you know that? I did not.
I think
In my
2022
recent
might have been
memory.
I think they might have been a 2:30, maybe an 11 o'clock or somewhere in there. Usually they try to put it. I know they do try to put it early in the day, but yeah, last year was a night game, and I didn't mind that being at night. I really didn't.
Are you laughing at that comment?
Yeah.
I kind of thought you were.
It's just hard not to laugh at. Like I'm just getting a lot of laughs today.
Are we sure that's not Kirk Ferentz too? Or I mean, either or.
That is kind of funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And no reentry for the games now, which apparently is a big deal that I never knew. Because we're selling alcohol in the stadium.
So with the addition of selling alcohol at Memorial, I believe this is to keep people from going out and drinking their own beer and then coming back in.
Mm-hmm.
But that still leaves kind of the weird space of what to do with the people who go to take a smoke break. I think that would be kind of the more disadvantaged of that group of people leaving. What to do with them now?
Maybe they'll have a smoking section. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, they very well. Like, I don't smoke, but I'm like, that's the one thing that I'm like, well, that's kind of the one set of people that you can almost have to devise something else for.
Whoa. Mark is just like throwing shots tonight. Roger Moore says Iowa is meaningless. And then Mark says, Roger Moore, what does that say about Nebraska?
I believe Jackson put it best in an argument here about 20 minutes ago. How many national titles does Iowa have again? Oh, that's right.
Thank you. Yes, there you go.
Well, I mean, last time they won a natty was when Gunsmoke was the #1 television show in all of America.
Yeah, but Gunsmoke was awesome.
True.
Classic. I agree. Yes.
Sadly, Gunsmoke was awesome.
I know, right?
You can still find Gunsmoke on TV.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much one of the few reasons why I even keep the Peacock app. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get rid of the Peacock app until like football season comes back. It's like, oh, what's this? I see Marshall Dillon on the Peacock app. Nice. If they can add those 30-minute episodes like in the rest of the seasons on there, that would be nice. I'd be like, yep, you sold me, Peacock.
Douglas Cody says instead of smoking, we will have to do edibles. And Greg says maybe the Huskers are trying to get people to quit smoking. You know, like I said, I'm a lightweight, and like I have never tried like marijuana products per se. And my mom mentioned to me that she was taking some CBD to help her sleep. And since I'm getting to be a certain age now, not 27 anymore, I thought, okay, I'm going to try an edible because it's legal here in Arizona. So I put it in Chat GPT, like what I wanted to take possibly. And I got like, it told me what to go and buy. So I went and I bought these edibles, and it said you take 1 5 milligram gummy. And I took it like at 8 o'clock at night. And about 9 o'clock, I'm like, okay, this is doing nothing. Just what I thought it was going to do. So then I took another. And oh my Lord, I can't even explain to you guys. Like, this was just a few weeks ago when this happened. I officially know what the term trippin' means. Like, officially. So I don't know if we should be doing edibles either at games, Douglas Cody. This is not a good idea.
Now
Yeah.
this is Monday night right there.
Yeah, that's the old classic memes. These edibles ain't shit, and then it says like 20 minutes later, like,
Do not take another. Just wait. Wait 24 hours. That's my advice. Oh. Well, it's been fun tonight, you guys. I appreciate you all coming and being on the show with me. Jackson, I know, don't you normally have a show on Monday nights? What are you doing here?
Oh, well, we ended our show a couple hours ago.
Okay.
So
I am going to catch it one of these days, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Having a busy day, but it's always a good one. But co-host Jeffrey's on vacation, but he'll be back next Monday. And we moved up the call-in show up to 6:30 p.m. Central Time.
Okay.
Instead of having it at 9 p.m. because we're making like some kind of channel announcement. That's gonna be fun.
Whoa. Okay, so next Monday at 6:30 Central Time for Jackson.
Well, this Thursday will be
This Thursday. Okay.
6:30 p.m. Central Time.
Okay.
We take your calls.
Okay. You might have some Nebraska trolls.
Right.
But you don't mind. You can handle us.
Hey, I mean, we dealt with Caden the man. That's nothing. That's like no worries.
Just remember, the N stands for knowledge.
There you go.
That's what we're always told.
Yeah. And speaking of knowledge, Jarek, I appreciate you adding the knowledge tonight with baseball.
I do what I can.
Yes. And congratulations on your twins again. That is so fantastic. I'm so excited for you. And people can find you on Corn Nation, right? You write articles?
Yep. For football, men's basketball, and then I do our Thursday flakes as well.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Perfect. Awesome. And that's it for me. You guys, I'll be here on Thursday with Greg.
Let's get Minnie to 1,000 followers on X. She is 151 followers right now. And let's see, that makes it 849 followers. Let's help get her to 1,000 followers on X/Twitter.
All right. Yes, let's do that. All right. Have a good night and go Big Red.
Go Big Red.
There you go. Go Big Red. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, go Big Red. That works too.
There we go.
Good night.